Welcome back to The Way We Farm. On today's episode, we are working on our 1770 NT, narrow transplant, not no-till, corn planter. So this will be our third year running our planter. This is a 12-row. So in Western New York, we run starter fertilizer, and then the tank on the back's a 150-gallon water tank. We put that on last year, and then Troy mounted this nice system. We put our Pivot Bio in that tank, and then we run a dosatron. The blue thing on top is a dosatron. As the water goes through the pump, the dosatron picks up the correct amount of Pivot Bio and puts it through. These blue tubes go down to Keaton seed firmers, and they spray the solution, the water, right in front of the seed, or excuse me, right on top of the seed. So if we try some pop-up fertilizer this year, which we're gonna, the Pivot Bio doesn't like to mix in starter fertilizer and stay in suspension very long. So we're gonna try, I guess it's hard on the bacteria. So we're gonna try some Pivot Bio, we're gonna use Pivot Bio, but we're also gonna try some pop-up fertilizer. So this will be the same way. It'll blend through these, it'll go through the pump, it'll go through the dosatron, put in the correct amount, right on the top of the seed, and we're gonna see how that works. So let me explain a little more what we've been doing to the planter. So I showed you the wore out gauge wheel arms. So now Troy put on all our new arms. So a couple of them were waiting for different gauge wheels. What happens is the gauge wheel, the plastic wears out and they become loose on there. But if you feel this thing barely moves. Them other ones were moving probably 3/4 of an inch at the bottom. So we were not going to replace the seed blades, but we got measuring them, and they were 14 and 5/8. So it's not going to take long. They'd be down less than 14.5 inches. So not exactly sure how many acres we're going to put on the old girl this year, but we know them seed discs wouldn't have made it through the season. So new seed disc, new gauge wheel arms. The fertilizer discs are okay. Troy put some new bearings in some of the row cleaners. Actually, we're still waiting on a couple bearings. We have floating row cleaners on here. So then we discovered, well, we knew this already, but the arms on these single disc fertilizer openers, the holes are ovaled out. So that is just moving an unacceptable amount. So we ordered 12 new arms. We're gonna put new arms on. We got a few new gauge wheels. A couple of them get beat up. The rocks in Western New York are hard on things, so they beat them up pretty good. So we're gonna get new arms for all these are what I mean by arms. We're gonna get all new of those put on, get them shimmed back up, and these discs were new, I believe 2 years ago. These shoes were new. They're holding up pretty good. They seem to be okay, so we're just gonna make sure none of them are bent or warped, and we're gonna continue to put things back together. So this planter is equipped with precision meter finger pickups. It's a pro drive or cable drive, but we had one of these RUMs, row unit modules, go bad. So we got a new one of them in the house I forgot to bring out. We're gonna throw on. And we've got a seed sensor. We believe on this one, row number 7 is bad. So we're gonna throw a new seed sensor. We unplugged it to finish up the last day of black bean planting last spring. So this planter has air bags for down pressure. It's just got the simple little compressor in the cab. We just run it that way. This planter was set up hydraulic drive. Last year, Troy switched it over. We found a used chain drive contact wheel drive out in Missouri. So we put that on because we're not sure. This year we're gonna probably run the 4650. We're just not sure how much hydraulics we have. So it's a very simple system, the contact wheel. We plan about 34,000 corn population, and it just works simple. Half-width disconnect. So he installed that last year. That was a little bit of a trick when you have a planter that doesn't have it on there. It was a little tricky to get started. We kept all the components for this. So if we decide to go back to hydraulic drive, we've got the drive chains, we got everything. It would be real easy to just plug back in and away we would go. No big deal. So here's the 150-gallon tank I spoke of. Troy made a bracket for it. We had a little saddle for it, but he made a bracket, and we mounted it back here. Works good. So this one is for water. This one is for starter fertilizer. It's got a 450-gallon starter fertilizer tank. We usually put down 20 to 25 gallons of starter fertilizer for corn, soybeans, and edible beans. So the other thing is we got looking at these tires, and we do a lot of road work. We rent ground 26 miles from home one way and 18 miles the other way, and these tires just don't look great. There's a couple spots where they're getting checked or getting bald. So we've ordered 4 new radial tires for the center. The wings are gonna be fine with what they got, but we figured the easiest way to avoid a crisis, the easiest way to solve a crisis is avoid it. So we're gonna put 4 new tires on the center section, and then we'll have a couple spares. We 2 years ago we ran one furrow cruiser on one side and a John Deere regular rubber on the other side. And last year when we were at the Louisville Farm Show, a guy talked me into putting them on both sides of the row. So Troy has flipped all of these. They're supposed to be, I believe, 1.5 inches between each other, 1.25 inches. He set them to what the specs are supposed to be. I think it's 1.5 inches. So they wear on one side a little bit funny in our abrasive gravelly soil. But so Troy flipped them over, so they're all ready to go. I say gauge wheel arms are on. We're ordering maybe some new hoppers so we don't have to change the drives on the bottom. So when we plant beans, we use a bean cup for planting our edible beans. We use a John Deere radial bean meter for planting soybeans, and then for corn we just use precision planting finger pickup. So man, the shop is crowded. We got seed here, more seed coming. Got a bunch of seed back there. We gotta get the motor in a 9670. So yeah, we got lots of projects going on, but spring's coming and we're getting excited. So let me know, what size planter do you run? What brand do you run? And also, what population do you plant your seed at? And do you use any biologicals like Pivot Bio or anything like that? So we're gonna do a few more experiments this year. The Pivot Bio, we didn't see a lot of yield results last year because it was dry. But on a normal year, we'll see some. So we cut our fertilizer rate back probably 25 pounds last year. We used Pivot Bio, proven 40. This year, we're gonna try to cut back the full 40 units of nitrogen to see what happens. We're gonna do a couple more trials, and we're excited. So we should grow some great corn. And like I say, with this 1770, this old girl's been over some acres. We bought it well used, but we like it. It's a great job, and we are excited to get planting for spring 2023. So like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as always, great day to feed the world. Hope you are too.